stamps, just sitting back, existing, no work requirement whatsoever. That should never have been allowed. Food stamps should be a temporary holdover while you look to get back on your feet so you can support yourself. Food stamps should not be this thing where people like me permanently pay for your groceries so that you can use the money you save to instead spend that on alcohol and vacations. That should never have been allowed. So I am happy to see you get cut off.
After the destruction of the first
even
temple,
happier to see you get arrested when you think that you're entitled to steal food instead. I'm from Renewal Anderson.
All right, so there's two versions of what's going to be happening. What is going to be happening by the end of next month? Okay. 100%. So,
wait, isn't it Fred?
I'm talking about once everything starts sinking in. Because some people have started to save, from what I'm understanding, so they have a few coins left from October, but now you should see the shift in the baskets, the way things look in the baskets. So now everybody has like dry pastas and canned pasta sauces, dry beans, rice. It's all, I'm in there nosy as heck. I was like, okay, what are people doing? What does it look like? So more of that kind of stuff, non-perishable stuff, long shelf life stuff. That's what people are buying now. And all the cakes and cookies and shit, all that stuff is not being purchased. Not happening.
Come on, man. Earlier today, somebody told a person, go ahead and sell your home. You know, if you
figure that out.
Sell your home.
You not talking.
And no, shut up. I'm not bringing out nobody's name. I'm just saying. Somebody told somebody, if you can't afford these things, then maybe you should, pretty much find a new place to live. Out of your home, collect the money, and find somewhere to live.
Well, it might take sense for some people, but what if it's your home? You're gonna find all other options before you just tell somebody it's home. You don't know what's behind all that. The first thing I would have said is like, let's exhaust all options.
Well, can you tell us the response? Oh, well, the person was pretty much hurt about it. I mean, the response was obviously, telling their story. But the idea and what I'm saying and bringing that up is the fact that is the other side's mindset. They're saying, listen, you should have been off of this program a long time ago. And I'm tired that the federal government is taxing my money that I worked hard for to make sure that you have food on your table. That is the mindset you're dealing with. How do you negotiate with someone who thinks that you're robbing from them? How do you get into the psyche of someone? And that's my point. But majority of the people voted for this man.
So I have a question. It may, thank you. It may be a dumb question. So if it is, please tell me it's a dumb question.
Oh, it's dumb, Marshall.
It does seem to me that food assistance is not meant to be permanent. Now, I understand there to be a significant gap between somebody being able to make a living and somebody being able to come off food assistance. What I mean by that is, if you are making $50,000 a year and you get some sort of food assistance, if you make $55,500 a year, that could enter food assustance.
That number real high, bro.
Well, I may be right. I'm not saying I'm right about that.
Are you talking about like 3 or 4 people in the house?
Yeah, but Marshall, if you say the real number, Marshall, the real range would add more context to it.
Hold on.
Because the real range.
Well, please, let me finish. If the rate is lower, please lower it. The question I am providing is whether food assistance is temporary or permanent. Do we think food subsidies should be permanent in that fashion?
if we do, that's great. I'm not advocating against that. I'm more wondering whether more people think food assistance should be one of those kind of semi-permanent things that the federal government provides, or whether it should be a temporary thing, noting what we just listened to. Somebody said it should be temporary. Should it be?
I have the answer. Yes, it should be temporary, but if the person still needs it, not to take them off of it. If the circumstances haven't changed, then what the fuck you take them off for? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying like, if someone is not getting a fucking pay raise and they're working and they still get qualified for it, why should they come off of it? No one's getting, no fucking real money. Minimum wage hasn't changed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Food is going up.
And if the cost of living is going up and your salary is not being adjusted accordingly, then you stay behind.
Exactly.
Plus, you guys are acting like it's just the money. You don't take into consideration the amount of people in the household and also the percentage of your salary compared to the poverty level. And it's not like, for instance, in my states, the net monthly income is $3,000 for a family of 5 in order to receive food assistance. That is not a lot of money.
Tied to the poverty level that's defined by the federal government. But I think what's more important with the question, what I think is a good question, is what are the social safety nets that enable people who are born into generational poverty to lift themselves out of that, right? And so if you have free education, free healthcare, things that are not tied to your generational wealth or poverty that enable you to lift yourselves out of that poverty, if you're smart and driven and whatever, then yeah, absolutely, food assistance and welfare should be temporary. But if all of your systems are built to like promote generational poverty and push the poor down and lift the rich up, well then yeah, of course those welfare systems are going to be permanent, because the entire system is created to push the poor to be poor and help the rich get richer.
And why, on top of that, why do we always talk about what poor people are getting, and we never talk about the taxes that the rich want, the tax breaks that the rich want? It's always about the poor and what they're not doing or what they're getting. We never have a whole discussion about the rich and the predicament we're in right now, because Donald Trump wants to protect the rich and make sure that they get what they want. They're already rich. What is the problem? They're already rich. Why do they need more? While we talk about what the poor, how long the poor should stay on assistance.
I think, Marshall, you should probably evaluate what the economic factors are that allow for an aristocracy to continue to exist, to expand to an oligarchy, because that's really the demographic that you're a part of. And so you should try and break that down for us.
So the thing is, we're still basing everything on
much money.
Can you hear me?
And hold on, I don't have as much money.
Well, I mean, your parents and your parents' parents, and
My
like the
parents'
land
parents,
that they own.
My
Marshall's a
parents,
millionaire.
The land that
my
they own.
You've been just making assumptions about him. I'm so confused.
I know enough to know that. I know enough to know that we
Get here, everybody.
Y'all,
they just never
Marshall,
did.
hang on, please.
hold on, guys. Who was speaking first? Because I don't even. So many
Tara
great conversations are gone. Okay, Tara, and then Moose. You can run.
No, I think Tara Marshall is going to respond, and Royal's been waiting as well.
Okay, Moose, you want to run the queue? Because I'm not holding my phone. You do a great job at it.
Just what I was going to say was like, my family never had that much wealth.
I mean,
Maybe it's perceived that I do, but my family never actually had that much money. The point I am making, and the point that I think is important, and the point that is important for the establishment of public assistance, is that public assistance was never meant to be a permanent thing. Jeremy, wonderfully enough, provided a great avenue for this, which is if you could structure society in a way where people can't afford to live, then you end up having to deal with it, right? My point was more, should it be permanent or should it not be permanent? And if it should be permanent, why should it be permanent? And where do we continue to derive those dollars?
Well,
Granted, I think there's a lot of that comes from how we diagnose wealth. And one of the most important things is in how we get wealth from other people to contribute to social systems, right? And for me, that big thing is that there are people who have money that would have to contribute when they didn't think they would have to. But the critical point is, should social assistance be permanent or should social assistance be temporary? And if it should be temporary, how temporary should it actually be?
Can I get in here from right now?
Real quick, because someone checked the chat. Tara was, she was actually supposed to talk before Marshall. Marshall took the mic back. Go ahead, Tara.
But wait, can someone check the chat? Somebody is just being too ignorant that don't deserve
All right, go check it. Thank you.
Well, like I won't take long, but I just want us to like get into a space where Marshall, we are being productive in the conversation about thinking about if you want to think about the system and how to get people in a position where they are more independent, where they are able to have more financial freedom from their subsidies, you may want to think about like what has historically taken you to this point. What has continued to move wealth in one direction and not in the other direction? I think it would be for you to like look into how many subsidies have been given to the class that was able to get land and enslavement rights, and then also to continue to profiteer in that way. You know, it would be helpful for you to understand how much that has been subsidized for a particular class of people in society. I think it's also helpful to like start to understand how this has been compounding generation after generation. And then I think it would be also pretty helpful to understand how those things continue to create disparity. Would that be helpful?
You going, Royal? Answer, like, you answered your own question. I don't even know how you can, it should be temporary, but the problem is, I don't know why you would even ask that question when you yourself, it's needed because unfortunately the structure of society keeps people in poverty. So you can't answer that question faithfully. It should be temporary, yeah, but the problem is it can't be temporary because of the bullshit that happens right here in America. Who's going?
The oppression isn't temporary, so why should the payments or benefits be temporary?
Exactly. Because there you go. Because you said it more simply than me, yeah?
Boy, speak, sir.
So no, I agree, but if your financial situation changes.
No, this is what I wanted to say. This is Miss Lisa speaking. Hello, everybody.
How you doing, Miss Lisa?
Like I say, if the oppression isn't temporary, then why should the benefits be temporary? I'm not really into the looting part, and you going to take stuff because they owe me this. Well, I think we've all become very spoiled and Americanized. We used to farm. We used to farm and grow our own food and eat from our land and eat enough just to, sustain our households. We had the barter system going. If I needed something, I can go to my neighbor's house and say, well, I need some eggs. You got some tomatoes? Or I got tomatoes. You need eggs? Or, I have an old car in the back that I got some parts on this car, but I need a vacuum. I'll trade you some parts for my car for a vacuum. See, These are the things that we used to do, and we come so lazy and so, push the button and it happened now, that we have forgotten how to survive just on a basic level, right? Just on a basic level. I'm trying to learn how to grow strawberries and blueberries and, blackberries and bananas, and I'm trying to learn how to grow these things. So when I said this all to say, stop waiting for them to do things for you and take your minds back. Take your minds back. One can learn how to. I don't eat meat, and that's because my body rejects it. It's nothing that meat is bad. No, my body just doesn't want it. But I eat fish, right? So I want to learn how to, grow fish, like raise fish for food, and that's how we used to do it. So I'm just saying this all to say, get your minds back and get your strength back and take your power back and become a powerful person to yourself, not to the system, but to yourself, right? So, let's go back to those days where we survived on our own.
Mr.
Marshall's
question. Hold on, let me just jump in. Hold on.
Okay.
This all sounds so good in theory. I live in New York. Even if I stay with my parents in California, they own a home in California. There's not enough space. And first of all, to grow fish, it is absolutely impossible. Fish have to have the right oxygen to water content, be able to move around. There's certain criteria that have to be met for them to even spawn, and then another fish to actually come and fertilize it. So we cannot get romanticized up into that. Do you know how big a banana tree is? Do you know how much water it takes to grow bananas? We really have to start micro gardening and everything. Let's sit down and have a conversation, because we can micro garden. We can grow herbs and stuff on the wall. They're starting to do that in New York. A lot of people are doing growing herbs and stuff, but you fucking can't grow no corn on the wall, and you can't grow any potatoes on the wall. There are only certain things you can do in those wall gardens. But if we have people who can qualified, or you could do this and I could do that, we can't have chickens. We can't have a cow walking down the street. We can't have goat for goat milk. We can't have pigs. So if we're talking about all getting together and going to buy us some land, some actual land, acres of land, and start our own town, own little cities, I could see that happening. But people living in houses, people living in what do they call those things?
But it could be different though, Lisa. It doesn't have to be bartered for food. It could be services, right?
That too, you guys. But okay, go ahead. Now I'm writing things down.
I'm just saying, say you're a barber, and whatever the case may be, someone is a mechanic. What if it's, you know what I mean? Like you work you use your network for what you have.
I get that, Haitian. I'm not slow on the uptake. I know I can barter. I know I can barter for this. I'm not worried about getting my hair done if I'm at this point in time where I'm trying to grow my food. But I understand that. But what I'm saying to everybody, you guys got it. If you got a way to start doing this, go ahead, do the test kitchen. Do the test point. Stop laughing at me. Sorry. I'm sorry.
What's your uptake?
Shut up.
Lisa says she's not joining y'all nigga nation, and that's what it is.
Well, see, so when I'm talking about
the nigga nation works though.
Can I just let me finish this? Gemini is a perfect example of a taste kitchen, because Gemini has the land to be talking this shit. And I hope I'm not telling your business, Gemini. I hope to God. But somebody like him walking up to me saying some shit like this, I'm down 100%. I know, because I know that we can get some of this done. But if my motherfucking neighbor come up here one more time talking about you grow the tomatoes and I grow, it's like, bitch, where are we growing tomatoes? Tomatoes grow on a vine. She didn't even know tomatoes grew on a fucking vine. I guess she thought they grew on a little bush. I don't know. So
they gotta spread out. They have to have the right. I'll leave it at that because you guys think I'm a Debbie Downer, but
not on the Debbie. Get off the Debbie.
Oh yeah, a Karen.
Monica.
But it's just, we gonna make our own cheese. We gonna make our own. It's like, bitch, where we gonna get this? How we gonna be churning cheese?
Well, who the fuck you calling a bitch, ho? Who the fuck you calling a bitch?
The fuck wrong with you?
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Are you serious right now?
You just said, bitch, we gonna make our tea. I'm the one that makes the steak.
Guilty, child, because my neighbor asked me this dumb shit every morning, and I was like, bitch, where are we going? It's nowhere in the world be charged, y'all, but y'all gotta give me a little bit more. You gotta give me a.
See, here's the irony, right?
Churning butter looks like.
Here's the irony is that if you're eating like free range organic eggs, you're either rich as fuck or poor as fuck. Like that's just the reality. Either you're living out in like the boondocks and you got a whole bunch of chickens running wild and that's like the major source of your protein for free, or you're rich as fuck and you go to the super wealthy organic fucking grocery store in the middle of Manhattan to get your farm fresh free range eggs. Like that's the sad reality.
Lisa? So I was gonna back up to Marshall's question real quick. Like I know.
Somebody, y'all being funny in the goo. Y'all send me some pictures of your ass in the garage churning cheese on a GoPro. I swear to God, y'all ain't gonna play with me all night. I want to say.
Not cheese. I thought wait, I just want to let y'all know Trump and Xi are holding hands together. Xi is looking out into the atmosphere, and he's like, "God, why am I here?"
Probably Trump.
Marshall's turned up like Trump smells.
Can anyone hear me?
No. Can I go to?
Bro, I've been trying to talk for a minute.
Can I finally go into Marshall's question?
Bro, are we just gonna like you can't hear me? Hello?
So Marshall's question.
No, Royal. What's the deal? You guys came off the mic, bro. All right, we're gonna have to go. We're gonna be disrespectful.
So
why am I getting muted? I started talking first.
Hey, y'all.
Who's not speaking?
This is some bullshit.
So
you guys don't fucking hear me, dude. What are you doing?
Come on, we gotta do one mic. Come on, y'all respect.
Come on.
It's
Go ahead, Royal. Go ahead. I guess the giant is first today.
I don't know.
Yeah. So Marshall's question is an example of, while not stupid, is an example of what America is made of. So the problem is we only have that question because of the structure. It's somebody was saying it. It's one of the things I wanted to say. But going to the question itself, amongst many other questions like this, these questions only arise because we have a certain mindset. We think, right, that people are bad because they receive public assistance. That's where the question stems from. No, Marshall. Marshall, I don't think you. Marshall, hold on.
Bad attribution.
Marshall.
Place of bad attribution.
You don't.
Go ahead and give your rebuttal, sir.
Yeah, this is not a step against you. I just said this is an American thinking. Because these type of questions, not just the one you asked, but many questions like this arise all the time because we've been taught to think like this. Okay, instead of the fact that this person needs food, and it does whatever it takes to get this person food. Let's get them food. Let's get them the assistance they need. Let's get them the utilities that they need. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Who cares about that? Let's just make sure this person is stabilized. That is how this social society should be thinking. But instead, right, we got this weird thing where it's like, okay, you got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I'm going to make a hard-ass system for you to navigate, right? And if you don't navigate it right, then it's not only your fault, but you're a bum. You're a sucker. You don't deserve shit. What's wrong with you? That is what
this society is built on. So again, Marshall, this is not about you. It's about the type of question that is asked amongst Americans. And I had to think about this like some time ago, and I realized, this questioning, this type of questioning is built into our society, and it's terrible.
Royal, like all due respect, no different.
Actually, don't get to the point. They're claiming social assistance was bad. I simply asked the question with the predisposition as to whether it should be short-term or long-term, as to whether a family from, say, 1990 should still be using public assistance.
No.
That's a very fair answer, right? Which is what makes me think we could probably do better to help folks get jobs. Now, I'm sure that involves more than like state allocation of job funding. We call it Texas Job Force down here.
But the white men even saying they can't get a job. How do people that are already poor gonna get a job?
There is a question about.
Marshall, think about this though, right? You're saying there's training in Texas, right? They have all those free trainings, right? But now with automation, those same fucking thing they train people for, they're getting laid off for anyway. So what happens then?
I'm not sure. I don't think that a universal basic income is the way to do it. We'd have to rearrange our finances the way we currently spend in a massive fashion to afford for that. My point was more whether that should be permanent or impermanent. It's not a values question as to those who receive it. If you need the assistance, you need the assistance. I'm not here to say you don't. I'm not here to say you shouldn't have it. If you can't make ends meet at the end of the month, and SNAP is what's going to help that alignment, then get SNAP. I'm here for you. In fact, if I can give money out of my salary to help you be stable, I would be happy to.
Marshall, you understand?
Go ahead, Jeremy.
I'm sorry, brother, but you understand that, like, what we're talking about here is that the reason why we have generations and generations of people who are stuck in poverty without any reasonable way to get out of it, right? While we see the wealthy, like just accelerating their wealth with their privilege and their access to the things that help them continue that wealth. Right, like you have other examples of wealthy nations where they don't have these conversations. Like the UAE and Dubai is not talking about like, how much should we tax our wealthy people? How much should we charge them for access to education? How much should we, force them into bankruptcy for access to healthcare when they get cancer or break their legs? Like wealthy nations don't have these conversations. And I'm not even like doing a Canada-US thing. Canada's a piece of shit too. Like no wealthy nation with massive resources.
Your point is that wealthy nations should not face these job limits. I understand.
What I'm saying is wealthy nations with resources should have social safety nets and access to getting you out of poverty. That's all I'm saying is that the wealthy nations shouldn't tax their people. They should have enough resources to generate wealth. So they don't need to tax their people. They don't need to have conversations about whether their citizens should have access to education and healthcare.
Okay, I got breaking news, you guys. Breaking news. If you guys don't own a TV for whatever reason, you need to see what's going on between Trump and Xi. First Lady, you there? I am. This motherfucker, I'm sorry, you guys.
Is this on YouTube or anywhere else? I need to know.
Cursing.
I'm sure it's got to be on YouTube.
Listen, President Xi, he ain't the one. Donald Trump doing all his circus acts, all his one-liners, and he ain't cracked a smile. Do you hear me? He ain't even bothered looking at him in his face. Donald Trump has met his match. He in there trying to do that dance he did yesterday, flop. He in there trying to crack jokes, flop. He in there trying to pull his hand and make him look in his eye. President Xi looked over there, gave him the slight eye, turned right back, flop. All that, the greatest president of the world. She's like, and? This is classic. And all the people looking like they scared to fucking death. Y'all should see this. This is
wait,
good.
I'm trying to figure out why
He does not.
the Americans have. Help me understand why the Americans have the headphones on.
So they have the headphones on because they're only speaking.
Do they have a translator? Like, what's
the translator.
Okay, well, then tell me why Trump don't have it. He's sitting there looking like as if he
has
know
an
what he's saying.
earpiece, probably.
He has an earpiece.
Oh, okay.
You think he understands?
So you see G, just as G's kind of posture at all the times, he doesn't really, he looks straight ahead a lot of times. So.
No,
No.
So when they had that, conference back in July with India, he was smiling, shaking hands. Remember, they were talking about India and China being friends again. He was smiling.
You can see that when he went back with North Korea and.
He is not taking none of Donald Trump's shit. He does not have to kiss his ass, and the atmosphere is 100% different than it was
because we're in a trade war right now.
And the poker faces ain't that great today either. Yeah, he fired his last negotiator where we thought that we had fucking reached an agreement. That motherfucker went back to China and was fired.
Yeah, I remember that, right? We came back to China and her ass was done.
You're dismissed.
Yes.
And you know what he said to the Chinese people? He said, we do not back.
Right. He said we was something. He said something about poison or something. Remember that quote he said? Something about I'd rather eat, I don't know what it was. I have to go pull it up. That they'd rather eat poison or some shit like that. This man ain't playing talking about that's the way he always looked. That ain't the way he always looked. You go to the very beginning when they had to walk out and shake hands. He was like, he looked at President Trump like he smelled. His nose went up a little bit in the air. He's like,
You got a little bit, you got a little like this right now.
Don't ever do that. Let me tell you something, Omari, and really seriously, I'm not the one. I don't need to build attention. I don't need attention. As a matter of fact, I got too much attention on this fucking app. I don't need that. I'm telling you what I see. If you don't like it, just say I don't like it. But other than that, I don't need to try to get anybody's attention. I'm telling you what's going on. If you don't like the way my descriptive, the way I'm being, turn on CNN and watch it yourself. I'm just trying to provide a service. Y'all niggas did that last night when I was trying to tell you about your president, talking about he's running for a third term. I'm still not over that. I'm still a little salty about that, the way you were treating me and telling me I should be ashamed of myself of reporting something that came out his motherfucking mouth. So don't do that to me. And I'm still tender and salty about yesterday.
The women modded rooms on this app are popular houses. We gotta say that. Like the women modded houses on this app, like Lisa and Patty's, like that's why what Lisa just said, you will never hear in a male dominant modded house on this app. And I'll land with that. I know that's controversial, but I just gotta put that.
You'll never hear what? Wait, what are you?
I got a question, guys. Do you guys know?
No, hold on, Caesar, before you ask your question.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Let me know when it's cool to talk.
Thank you, sir. Jeremy, we'll never hear what in a male-dominant space, a male-modded space.
So what Lisa just said. What Lisa just said was saying, hey, like I don't need the attention. I don't come on here to be the big mic. Like I come here and mod these rooms to have good conversations, right? And I think there's a lot of men on this app and a lot of men on the right who come in and just want to dominate and want to talk over people and want a big mic. And those rooms get smaller and smaller, and the biggest rooms on this app that I come into tend to be rooms like Patty's and Lisa's and First Ladies that have women modding the conversation. That's all.
Providing a service.
And I love these spaces, which is why I'm here. But let me ask you this: have you been in IGB? Do you think that's why their space is so small?
Yeah, but I think IGB too. Even with Lou, he has a lot of women that help run his spaces too.
But it's like a male. He said a male can run the space, which it just completely refutes everything he just said. That's all I'm saying.
I think he was
Gemini, I'll be quick. I didn't mean to be controversial. I was just saying that.
Controversial. And a lot of men, he's talking about they come in this room and Patty's room. They tend to want the big mic. They want to be heard. They want to be seen, and then they want to disrespect you at the same time. But you got me all the way messed up because you would be my employee in the real world, not the other way around. I would be your boss. And I would handle you totally different than the way. No, there's no the way where my statue, where I am. This man right here was my employee, so he's trying to treat me like he would, like it's the opposite. But I guarantee you that would not ever be the case. Big facts.
I think a lot of I think some of the guys come on here to make up for what maybe they don't have, like the power they don't carry in the real world. They try to impose their power, impose their will here. I think there's some of that. I think there's people also that come on here that legitimately like to have the conversation and are here for the conversation. I think this combination of both, from my opinion.
Gentlemen, just to be clear.
I think it's more. I think it's a lot of males that come on here with problems at home. I guess they be trying to run us over, like we fucking animal.
When Lisa was explaining what she was seeing, his first thing was, oh, that's the way he always looks. And then when Patty started explaining, no, that's not what happened when he was meeting with the Indian Prime Minister and all that, then it's it's because they're in trade war. So no matter what, Omar will find something to say to cape for this man. He will just make up shit and continue to say shit to cape for
Remember how they were talking about they were whispering in each other's ear and shit? Remember that? And he was just like, they was whispering in each other.
No, hold on. Break that down. Who was whispering in who ear? Like what?
Indian Prime Minister, Putin, freaking Xi Jinping. They were fucking, and he was happy. He got to talk with India. They haven't seen each other in 10 years. They've been beefing. But he not fucking with Trump, for real. Trump is fucking disrespectful. He's a clown. I mean, the executive producer, what she played yesterday, motherfucker said he's not serious in real life. He's a fucking clown.
Big facts. Yeah, but Trump shit to me, Patty, wasn't so much about Hollywood, right? It was his racism, the people he fucking attracted. Because if Trump ran as a regular New Yorker, they would have said, like, don't vote for him. He's a city slicker type shit. You see what I'm saying?
You're right. He appeals to the redneck Midwestern trash. Somehow, even though he's a classist and doesn't really align his policy with anything that benefits them, he's appealed to them in a way that, like, fuck it. You want to see that sign?
Exactly. And then on top of that shit, right, they also look at him, and not only just the dumb ones, even the educated ones, look at him like, well, he's saying the stuff we can't say. He's bringing white, male pride back, whatever the fuck it should be.
Yeah.
Remember, white males are being discriminated against.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're the ones Exactly.
And they like to watch him
against
break
whites.
the
This is
rules.
not benefiting whites. This is hindering whites. The white man deserves this job, and they're giving it to unqualified African Americans. Can that nigga even fly a plane? Like that was the whole rhetoric.
And and unfortunately, how many helicopter crashes have we had since then? Military related. A handful.
The hilarity is saying that, like, oh, we gotta reduce the number of DEI hires in airport, air traffic control, and yet the entire air traffic control system is working on a volunteer basis right now in America. Like, DEI is the least problem, the smallest problem that America's got facing them right now, and yet that's where America's at.
I mean, we got duct tape on the planes right now. like I'm being funny, but no, it's ridiculous right now.
Okay, guys, I want you to hear this back and forth, and especially for Omar. Did he leave?
I want to say no.
No, he's still here.
Okay.
I know Caesar wants to get it. My bad, Caesar. I know you want to get it.
Go ahead, Caesar, before I do this. I'm sorry.
All right. Yeah, thank you, guys. Glad to be here. Now, I was just thinking about everything. I love to listen to different opinions and whatnot. I think it's ridiculous how they're taking it away from people that actually need it, I've always made my own money. I've always made good money. And, I suffered an injury, and I had to jump on food stamps. I have kids. Did I feel bad about it? A little bit, because as a man and a father, you kind of you don't feel right about it. But I can definitely tell you, during that time, I helped a lot of people out, because there's a lot of people doing worse than me. I don't think they should take it away, but I would hopefully say they should incentivize, because I do know that after three months or 6 months, they interview you again and see if you're applying for jobs or whatnot. What they should do is this is my theory, incentivize them with getting jobs from these billionaires that we talk about that have a lot of jobs openings. They need to take some of those people in, train them, give them the proper training, and take those people in. They want tax cuts, no problem, but you got to bring all these people in. I think that's a win-win situation for everybody, because if they have so much complaint about, they're already making that much money, but at the same time, they're also creating jobs for a lot of people. But I really think if you mix both of those things together, it would work out better for everybody. Because I know that my food stamps every 3 months is getting lower and lower. I don't know what's gonna happen this month, but whatever it is, I'm gonna have to figure it out.
Hey, Caesar, first off, I appreciate you bringing up that submission. I'm glad. I hope everything's working out for you. And the only thing I'll add to it is it's a good percentage of people that are on like SNAP benefits and other benefits that are working, and that are actually working. So it's not like most people on SNAP are people that are just not working. And I think that is the narrative that's always pushed out there, is that people on these benefits are just people that are just kind of, chilling at home or for other reasons, which isn't the case. There's many, many people that are working and that are on SNAP. And it's because, unfortunately, for many reasons in America, these jobs aren't enough. I have to work 3, 4, how can you work 3, 4, 5 jobs to take care of your family when you need to be home to take care of your family? That sometimes is a narrative that's too often pushed. And I think we can't be naive. We've always talked in this country for years that the middle class is dissipating, that you're either going to be poor or rich. You're either going to fall into one of those two classes, and the thing is that's being accelerated under Trump. So I don't think the talk of how can we limit the time you're on SNAP can happen when we don't talk about how we're gonna reboost the middle class so that people don't have to be up. Because like I said, a lot of people are working and are on SNAP, so they're already at the work. So how are we going to provide more jobs
where people can get off the SNAP benefits, so they can actually get jobs that pay, you know, a living wage and a wage that is enough to take care of a family. You know, those are the questions. So, you know, so a lot of people, unfortunately, are working, have to stay on staff. You know, and I don't get too much long with it, but yeah.
I agree 100%.
And I've heard just the opposite. 2 days in a row, I've heard that college graduates, particularly in the tech field, are struggling to find jobs because of what we said 6 months ago, AI. These businesses, these corporations are using AI in place of filling positions. I've heard this 2 days in a row that college graduates are going to have a hard time finding work. So those are educated people. And I'm not talking against those who haven't gone to college. I'm just saying it's getting more difficult to find employment. So I'm not sure, Caesar, what companies you're talking about who are doing all this hiring, but if you have some information that you'd like to share, because I believe everybody probably knows someone who is looking for work, and if you have information that you'd like to put in the chat or to say publicly, please do so, because what you're saying is not what I've heard.
Wait a minute, guys, seriously, hold that for just a second, because I can't keep this TV on hold for this length of time. It'll just start playing on its own. Let you guys listen to this clip so we can get it over with. It's Donald Trump and Xi. They're responding. They're giving you guys a breakdown of what happened. I won't play the whole thing, but I just can't keep it paused like this because I'll lose it. So we can get back to the conversation. Put a pin in what you're getting ready to say. I think it was Haitian and another two people that came off your mic. Just put a pin in it for a second. Oh no, don't tell me I've lost it already. Come on. Dang it.
Go to YouTube, sis.
Wait, hold on, I got it. Whew, child.
YouTube doesn't apply.
All right, is the press to speak?
You better not. You
Sure, out of the real. We just heard from President Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. The first time we've heard from Xi Jinping on this, and he called Trump he said he had a very warm feeling toward Trump. They are partners and friends. He wants the United States and China to be, and that's despite all of the back and forth. What did you make of that? And also, as you heard there, President Trump ignoring the question about a Truth Social post he just put up just moments ago, saying that we're going to start testing nuclear weapons again.
I don't make too much out of it. It was just an exchange of niceties and polite nothings. But I mean, it is kind of interesting to see the dynamic here is very different, obviously, than, for example, in the White House, where he had President Zelensky in there a few weeks ago, and he basically conducted this massive press conference ahead of their meetings and expounding on all sorts of issues, including U.S.-Ukraine relations. This is a much more tense meeting, much more consequential meeting, I think, from Trump's standpoint. And you see it as a meeting of equals because Xi Jinping is one of the few people that Trump cannot really bully. He feels like he cannot necessarily dictate what Xi does. And so I think both men are probably going in to some extent on their best behavior. But it's
Trump and flattery. I mean,
I don't think it's going to work on changing. I don't think it's going to work on changing.
He was flattering. I mean, Trump said he called him very distinguished and respected. He called him a friend, repeatedly.
That kind of works on Trump. I don't think it's going to work on Xi Jinping.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the question.
We've now gotten used to world leaders who have learned the lesson that the way to Trump's heart is through flattery, and it doesn't seem like here he's going to get a crown or a jet or
Peace Prize.
I did note that he brought up Trump's contribution to the resolution of the dispute between Cambodia and Thailand about their border, and he said, but also we were involved. So, you know, I mean, look, we don't want to read too many tea leaves here, but clearly Xi Jinping is not reciprocating in the overt, flattery here.
He did the same thing that everybody else did. He didn't say you deserve the Nobel Peace Prize.
he brought up Gaza. He's also flattering Trump. I have to push back on this idea that we got nothing out of the trade war. We've got $200 billion. Some of that paid for SNAP benefits all through October. So that money is actually going directly into the pockets of vulnerable Americans. Like, to just say we got nothing out of it.
Americans are paying the cost of tariffs.
Actually, yes. Let me play with the federally today. Listen.
Higher tariffs are pushing up prices in some categories of goods, resulting in higher overall inflation. A reasonable base case is that the effect on inflation will be relatively short-lived, a one-time shift in the price level. But it is also possible that the inflationary effects could instead be more persistent, and that is a risk to be assessed and managed.
Tariffs are contributing to inflation, and Trump redistributing wealth in this country from people who are paying for goods, which if you're paying for goods coming from China, they're usually lower priced goods. So you're talking about people who are working class or lower on the economic spectrum, to other parts of the economic system is just redistribution. That is all that it is. The vast majority of the tariffs have been paid by American corporations and foreign importers. Yeah, the vast majority. I'm going to acknowledge consumer prices are up less than 1%. You have $200 billion. That's more than 1%. Some of them have been paid by those corporations, but some are being borne by Americans, and even more so, the cost of tariffs, which is by some estimates over $1 trillion to American companies, is rippling down on those companies. When you apply that to companies and they are making less money, guess what they're going to do? They're going to raise prices or lay off workers. I keep hearing that, and it keeps not happening. I think, Abby, what actually happened was corporations raised prices by 15%. Sure, but the Fed today lowered their interest rates, saying that the unemployment picture was weakening.
So it was the pandemic that was bringing
there's clearly an impact. If there weren't an impact, then Trump wouldn't be over there. Well, I wouldn't be over there trying to stop this trade war, because the trade war he knows cannot continue like this forever.
I mean, to say that he's over there stopping it is acting like this wasn't something that he, when we started the tariffs. I mean, that's what he ran on, to bring back manufacturing, to put American workers first. Now, I don't think anyone at this table or anyone else could say, "Oh, I know exactly how to do that," without any, tariff or cost rising or anything like that. It's a long process. Looking at that table of everyone who's sitting there, I can't think of anyone else who would rather be sitting there than Trump, Secretary Rubio, Secretary Bessent. I mean, that's a really smart table, and that is why the soybean farmers, who, yes, they have been going through a tough time now, will run through a brick wall for the president because they see him there fighting for him. And I think he just got a little coke. And look, these
that's the reason why they're not
they are out of business. What do you mean they're going to run out of business? Wall? What do you mean they're going to run through a brick wall? They are literally saying that we are not going to be able to sustain getting zero.
And when he comes out of the meeting today, this morning, with the deal fixed, with a better deal.
This is like the arsonist thing. I'm going to put out the fire that I started.
This is very elementary to think that you can just walk into a Chinese conference room and say we need to increase our production. You need to stop taxing and doing this.
It's elementary to just do blanket tariffs on every country, which he did at the beginning. He didn't. Let me finish. Why is he there then? Because he does not have a trade deal.
He just got a trade deal with Japan and South Korea.
I'm saying, why is he in?
He doesn't have a trade deal.
You said it was elementary for us to think he would walk into a Chinese conference room and just say, let's have. What I'm saying is elementary on day one to put blanket tariffs out without a plan.
How do you know that?
And Americans are
Everybody, one second. I want you to thought about what you were saying about the frameworks that they announced this week.
Okay, I had to stop because this is good. I'll watch the rest of this later on myself, but this is Clubhouse on on CNN.
Yeah, I love it. I love Abby Phillips.
Me too. I mean, this is the stuff right there. So I didn't want to bore you guys. I'll go back and watch the whole thing myself. But the people she got at the table, of course, she got 2 MAGAs, and the rest are on the left. And honey child, they taking her to task, because why is Trump there if everything was working out? He there with his hat in his hand, and like they said, P, he's not the one. He said, his mindset is, I'm just as powerful as you are. I ain't giving you no gift, no plane, no crown, no flowers, no marching bands, nothing.
No chicken wing and french fries.
Y'all remember when they didn't make that deal, they were talking about how the CCP was going to suffer, and what he said was like China first. Came with that China first policy where Chinese will buy from themselves first. Right? That's right. He was not playing. Like, y'all keep playing with them fucking Asians. That motherfucker said this country will suffer. They won't get no food. And it will fucking work.
Yeah. Still got and we still have a billion citizens. So fuck.
And they about to sell some fucking electric vehicles to fucking Canada. Y'all keep fucking playing.
And guess what happened? What happened to the people at the Hyundai plant? Did they ever come back?
Nope. Great question. And actually, the South Korean president commented on that recently.
I'm going to go buy me an electric in Canada.
Somebody picked up Korean predators. Somebody picked up the layoffs in the automotive. The layoffs over there in automotive today. But Amazon right now is 15,000 employees laid off, and they're expecting possibly to 30,000.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Did y'all talk about Trump?
UPS too.
A lot of companies.
So Trump directs the Pentagon to immediately start testing nuclear weapons. He put that on his Truth Social.
On his Truth Social, yeah.
The irony with the South Korean workers. Here's the irony with the South Korean workers, and the South Korean president recently commented on this, right? Is that those South Korean workers, hundreds of them, that were arrested, handcuffed, sent to ICE facilities, and then deported along with their families. They were some of the only people in the world with the specialties they had, and they were there under a special program to help bring American manufacturing back to America, to build a Samsung manufacturing plant in America that did things that only these people knew how to do, and they were there literally to do those specialized things. And what the South Korean president said is that, hey, the reality is that after these highly wealthy, intelligent, educated people were handcuffed and sent to ICE facilities, most of them, even if we get guarantees from the U.S. that their safety and they'll be able to go back and teach Americans how to build these plants, most of them will not go back because they have PTSD and their families have suffered trauma.
So we fucked it up on this administration because I think they came on tourist visas because there was issues with their visas, and they were supposed to get it fixed because of the batteries, and they were supposed to be here teaching Americans. And they're supposed to go back to their country. We never fixed their visa issue, and that's how they ended up here illegally.
And the result is that manufacturing plant will be delayed and maybe never created, right? And Haitian, I'll respond to your point, is that, Amazon launched 3 different AI-powered robotic tools for their delivery and warehouses that will result in 30,000 less jobs. And I think what people don't realize is that when we look at the cost of humanoid robots coming out of China and AI, we're literally 1 or 2 years away from what happened in 1903 when petrol came out and the whale industry collapsed, which was the biggest financial industry in the world. And when horse maintenance was the biggest industry in the world, and then Ford came out with the car, and we are on the verge of that. And I don't say that in a negative way. I think we're going to make it, but I don't think people realize what's going to happen to the global economy when anyone with internet access can become a doctor, right? I own a tech company. I pay developers in Pakistan $1,500 a month, and and they're better than any developer in America, and they don't have access to Harvard or anything. They just learn shit on the internet, and they're brilliant. And that's what people don't realize, is that things are changing. It's not, things are really going to change over the next couple of years.
Jeremy, can I tell you too far with the internet?
I'm sorry, it's Michael. Mine's very short. Like in very certain states.
Okay, so what I was just going to say real quickly, you guys, before I forget it. Did you guys hear about Elon Musk and his robot army? Nobody?
That's what I'm talking about.
What? Okay. Wow. What is?
He's thinking about making 1 million robots for a robot army that he's going to be in charge of. Y'all ain't heard? Oh, child.
It's a billion.
Find that.
He's trying to deploy 1 billion robots. Yeah.
Was it 1 billion?
Awesome.
No. $1 billion for 1 million.
I'm sure it's 1 billion. If you ask him, undisclosed, it's 1 billion. But he's talking about.
Let me go find it. I heard it this morning when I was waking up.
They're trying to get the same footprint as the initial global footprint sales for mobile phones, which was 4 billion by 2012. So they're trying to get before 2033, 1 to 2 billion robots.
Yeah, but there's still jobs that's going to be available. You're just going to have to switch it up. Like for us in the military, they're talking about you tracking, like if you're a senior leader, they're trying to add to our courses some kind of fucking course from Vanderbilt that has to do with ChatGPT. They're trying to add prompt engineering for us. I know I'm supposed to take prompt engineering. I had to put my name in. I take prompt engineering next year, and then I've already did my PMCs, and then we got to do Microsoft Power BI. So it's crazy because they're saying, hey, you got to keep up with AI, and if you're a business major or you're in logistics, most of us that are in logistics and you're a senior, you got your MBA. If you got your MBA, your ass is fucking going to these damn that Vanderbilt class, and then that Microsoft BI certification class. They're not playing.
Who would want a person working on them that just got a license? I'm dead serious. Who would want somebody working on them that got their license on the internet? When on that paperwork, when they asked me would I want students in no. I told them, I said, this is Medical City. I don't want no students. They gave me doctors. That dude said I didn't get my license on the internet. He was like, this is Medical City. We don't, so I wouldn't advise to just get a license on the internet and call yourself a doctor. No.
Yeah, if you want to take that prompt engineering course, you can do it on Coursera.
And they're making us do it as part of our, you know how we have to take 2 classes a year?
Yeah.
That's one of the classes, and they were full this year, and I had to put my name on the waiting list for the seats that were available on ATARS, and mine is next year. So it's like, it's a forced, something that has to be on SRB now.
What was that, Patty? It's the same things that, like, the skilled experts, the human experts, like truck drivers, like you, Patty, as an expert in the military. Those are the skilled jobs that AI needs in order to oversee their nonsense. So you being forced to learn AI is saying, hey, we need experts like you to oversee this dumbass technology so that it can take your job. And the sad thing is that, like, when it comes to software developers, same thing. If you're a skilled software developer, you're overseeing AI code, you're not writing it anymore. But the shitty thing is that, like, what does that mean for the unskilled truckers, the unskilled military, the unskilled?
It's kind of weird because that's what enlisted has been fighting for the longest. Because we get special classes, like we go to PM, we go to product, what is it? Product. We get our product management certifications. We have fucking SAR majors that sit right next to us that may have 2 masters as well. They may have a master. They try to get into the strategic leadership classes with us. So, like, we have counterparts that have just as many degrees or classes, and they've been fighting for all of these classes that we're actually currently getting. You know, they're also having conversations with Google so that Google can do the Google Essential classes for military. It's crazy. And guess what the classes are going to be for? Me, because I'm a fucking officer. It's not going to be for enlisted.
And if you thought Google isn't part of the military-industrial complex, or Palantir, or like exactly, Patty. Like AI is not like this thing that's separate from the military industrial complex. Like
even Walmart just put a lot of money into training their employees.
Yeah.
Billions of dollars with that initiative to train employees.
And Walmart even has a program with our government. That shit's crazy.
Oh yeah.
They have a whole program with our government. And guess what? There's certain classes you can go there for training with the industry and be all like if I wanted to, and I applied for TWI. Well, at this rank I wouldn't be able to do Walmart, but at a certain rank, if I wanted to do some type of TWI with the industry and I picked Amazon, Walmart, whatever they have available, or even offer Amazon, they would let me do